Jihad has come to America.
Constitutes the most devastating series of terrorist attacks in history.
The only deen Allah accepts is Al-Islam. And whoever seeks any other deen apart from Islam will never be accepted.
Allahu Akbar!
And we stand together to win the war against terrorism.
But you too will make your destruction.
Thank you for joining us this evening. You're watching Jihad Exposed, a live program whose purpose is to expose the root cause of worldwide terrorism and to educate the West on what mainstream media does not report about jihad. Why is understanding the Islamic position of jihad important? Simple, because people act according to their beliefs. If a large group of people believes that war against unbelievers is a holy thing, then those who are not Muslims might want to be concerned. What will the West expect to see in 5 years? What about 10 years? What about 100 years? In fact, have you heard about the 100-year plan to overrule the West, a plan devised by an Islamic group? We'll get into that a little later, but I first would like to introduce our 3 guests tonight. 2 of them joined via Skype and 1 via phone. We have ex-terrorist Waleed Shubat. Welcome, Brother Waleed, to the program. We have Brother Kamal Salim, also an ex-terrorist. And we have Osama Abdullah, a Muslim apologist. Welcome, all 3 of you, to the program tonight.
Thank you.
Can you hear us in the studio this evening?
Thank you for having us, yes.
Wonderful. Well, so tonight's topic, we are going to discuss the question, what is jihad? Is it a struggle? Is it a holy war? Is there more than one kind of jihad? And why do we see not only Muslims and Christians disagreeing with its meaning and application, but also Muslims disagreeing with other Muslims on what jihad really calls to do? So we're here today to find the truth and expose ourselves to information outside our own worldview, outside our comfort level, in order to find that truth. So we'll now turn it over to our speakers. So our question of the night tonight is, what is jihad? And our first question this evening is for Brother Osama. Are you with us, Osama? If we can get Osama on the line, our first question, our topic tonight again is, what is jihad? And our first question is for Brother Osama. Are you with us, Brother Osama?
Yes. Hi, Summer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Sorry, I'm having internet connection problems tonight. I sincerely apologize.
That's okay. As long as we can hear your voice, we're all set. I want to pose the first question to you. And the first question tonight is it true that the highest point of Islam is jihad?
Well, jihad is it's considered by many Muslims to be the 6th pillar of Islam. Islam is made on 5 pillars, and some consider it as a 6th pillar. So it's not the biggest pillar, and it's not certainly the very first thing in Islam. The first thing in Islam is the Shahada, saying, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet and messenger.
Okay.
The 2 witnesses. But yeah, jihad is important. However, there are types for jihad, and I can explain that later.
Okay, wonderful. And how would you define jihad? If you can give us like a 2-minute summary on your Muslim perspective of what jihad is.
Sure. Jihad means to struggle. Okay, jihad is a word that is derived from the Arabic root word juhd, which means effort. Jihad literally means effort in Islam and in Arabic, and jihad is derived from it, and it means to make effort or to struggle. It implies to actually struggle against evil. You do jihad against yourself by staying away from evil places, evil temptations. Everything that is satanic, that is sinful, you stay away from it. That's jihad against yourself. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said this is the biggest and most blessed form of jihad. Another form of jihad is to actually fight evil itself in the society or the community. And the Prophet said, Khairul jihad, also, the best of the jihad, as far as, to others, كلمة حق في وجه سلطان جائر, a word of truth in the face of an evil or corrupt ruler. So if the ruler is evil, the best jihad I can do for him is say a word in his face that displays the truth. And actually, Islam is made, the Sunni sect is made out of four schools of thought. One of them is Hanbaliya, which is named after Ahmad bin Hanbal. And he was actually, this pious scholar, he was thrown in jail by the ruler because the ruler wanted him to be a judge. And Ahmad bin Hanbal said, one of the main scholars of Islam, he said to the ruler, if you're going to put me as a judge, I'm going to put you first in jail for all the corruption that you have in your country. And so the ruler got very mad at him, and he's thrown in jail. So, that's the form of jihad. That's another form of jihad. Another form is to actually do physical war, qital. Qital means to fight. And that's one form of jihad. Is to make actual qital, an actual fight by the sword, by the guns, and again, to fight evil and those who do transgression. Also, there's a form for Quran. Wajahidum, basically we have to make jihad through the Quran al-Karim, through the Holy Quran, by spreading Islam as I'm doing right now. I'm doing jihad with the Quran, by spreading the truth and debating and all that. So these are the forms of jihad.
Okay, was that it? That was your definition?
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot more things I can say, but yes,
All right.
in a nutshell, that's
All
right.
right, we'll come back to you. Kamal, I want you to, number one, comment on that if you can for us, but also, so there's two types of jihad that the general public sort of see. The first one is the violent jihad. Let's say you say the word terrorism. What do we think about? You say the word jihad. What do we think about? We think about terrorism, the violent acts of jihad. Then there's the second type, which is the cultural jihad or the stealth jihad. And I'd like you to talk about both the violent and also the cultural jihad for our audience that might not maybe know or might not have heard about, especially the second type of the jihad that might be out there or that might be creeping up to the West.
Thank you for having me, Summer. There's surely two types of jihad, but there's a whole lot more. The face of jihad spells in many different ways. And one of them is the stealth jihad, which is it's the most dangerous form of jihad because you don't know who your enemies are because your enemy are infiltrating. The infiltration is from within, and it goes on different levels of your society, whether from media to academia to government to every level. And nevertheless, then you have the other form of jihad, which comes in a mosque. When a mosque move into an area, it's a form of jihad itself because it's trying to expel others and bring about Islamization within the area to bring about, the other form of stealth jihad. And then you have the actual war like 9/11 when they tackle our, country, which is now you know who your enemies are and you see who's fighting you face to face. But nevertheless, there are the other form of jihad, which is fighting against self and what so have you. But these are the jihad that we're not worried about today. What we're worried about is what's killing people. Yeah. And this has come from, Umar ibn Khattab. He is also in the hadith al-Hanbali on Muhammad, Prophet of Islam. He said, ila al-jihad. When Umar ibn Khattab led, jihad, he said, remember what Muhammad said, ila al-jihad, which is, and that's verified by Bukhari or Muslim by the 400 series in several volumes. And with this, today, our enemies is the one they are hiding in the name of peace, but yet they are sitting out there to really bring about the greater jihad, which is what we saw in Fort Hood, which is Major Hassan, which is he was a sleeping agent. He was part of the American society, ate here, was born here, but he was jihadist at heart, and he just ambushed, everything and revealed his true identity, and he did not deny that it's jihad that he was commanded to kill his enemy, so in my humble opinion is stealth jihad is more danger than the actual jihad by the sword or by cannon, by the airplane, or, those who are telling us that they are our friend and are, people of peace, but yet they are lying to bring about destruction of a civilization.
Thank you, Kamal. We will go into a little more detail of what stealth jihad is and what cultural jihad is. What I'd like to do, though, we have a short video of Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf. This is the Imam who's behind the mosque that's being built at Ground Zero in New York. What we will do is listen to what he has to say, and then I'd like you, Walid, to comment on the Imam's approach or description of how peaceful Islam is and maybe how this ties into this stealth jihad, if it even exists. So let's take a look at that clip and then we'll be right back, and then I'll hand the mic over to you, Walid.
في جهل كبير جدا هنا في أمريكا عن الإسلام. فمن ضمن أهدافنا إن إحنا يعني نفهم الناس إيه هو الإسلام وإيه هو المسلمين. والإسلام دين يعني بيحب السماح ويحب السلام، وهؤلاء اللي عملوا هذا الشيء مش يعني العمل ده مش عمل إسلامي.
All right, so Walid, can you just comment on that video for us? Unfortunately, we can't see the video here, but if you could just comment on that. I assume you know how to speak Arabic, so if you could say a little about that video for us.
Well, it's saying that jihad is to liberate people from darkness. In other words, Islam sees that they're doing a favor for the communities they are, quote, occupying. But in reality, Islam does not call the occupations by force of any non-Muslim country as occupations. They use the term futuhat, opening the doors for Allah, opening the doors for Islam. So when Islam under Tariq ibn Ziyad went over to cross the Gibraltar, and he made his famous speech, Al-Bahru wara'akum wal-adu iza'akum, the sea is behind you. He burned the ships behind him, and the enemy is ahead of you. And Spain was conquered under Islam without provocation. This is a jihad of expansionism of Islam. If someone wants to state that jihad is not by the sword and it's not expansion of Islam, then they gotta denounce what the Prophet of Islam himself stated, Al-Jannatu tahta dhilal as-suyuf, which means the heavens is under the shadows of the sword. If Christianity was about cavalry, Islam definitely is about Calvary. You can use the same letters, but you can make up a different word. But then, of course, Abdul Rauf, he does not espouse the same methodology of jihad as Osama bin Laden does. But nevertheless, the end is the same results. He wants to do the jihad through one of the three prongs. Jihad comes through three prongs in Islam. Jihad is al-mal, the jihad by finance. Jihad al-qalam, this is the jihad by the pen, and that is the political jihad. And then you have jihad al-sayf, jihad by the sword. But prior to the jihad by the sword, Islam forbids basically the advancement without first involving the political jihad and the financial jihad. And it's exactly what we see that's being advanced in this country through Faisal Abdul Rauf and all the Islamic organizations in the West. From the Islamic Society of North America, MPAC, Muslim student unions, you name it, all the organizations in America are about the jihad of the pen and the finances.
Yeah, but Walid, many Muslims might disagree with the extremist position of some Muslims, and they might advocate peace. I mean, how can we not, or can it be true that these Muslims are just viewing jihad as a spiritual struggle against evil in a metaphorical sense?
Well, we've seen that. We've seen Anwar Awlaki on NPR and PBS saying the same things as Faisal Abdul Rauf says. He says, basically that Al-Qaeda is wrong and that he's against violent jihad and that he espouses interfaith dialogue, and they promoted him exactly as they promoted Faisal Abdul Rauf. Currently, he is being searched by American drones to be executed by the United States government for his physical, literal jihad. So while somebody will say, well, saying that all imams are not equal, we must ask the question then, is the Sharia of Anwar Awlaki different than the Sharia of Faisal Abdul Rauf? Are there two different Sharias? Are there two different jihads? is there a struggle within the Muslim community worldwide about the definition of jihad?